smile at the phases challenge, for I know I'm about to gain new skill, knowledge, and experience. For that, I'm thankful, said Marion Becoy. Hard times stimulates growth in ways that good times don't. Facing challenges and navigating one's way through them builds resilience capacity. Knowing that one can overcome obstacles, learn from struggles, and benefit from mistakes lays a strong foundation for success in later life. Challenges in life makes a person better because challenges in life take place so that you can prove yourself as a better person. Every challenge is an opportunity for personal growth and self improvement. You should use what you have learned and experienced as you grow to become better version of yourself for a better vision of tomorrow. If we can talk about challenges in academia, getting a PhD is one of them. We are going to have many guests who are awarded with this PhD. It's a postgraduate academic degree awarded by the university to a candidate who has performed extensive research in the field of study. The program typically takes 4 to 6 years and it's a back-breaking work. Earning a PhD degree is difficult and exhausting. Most individuals with PhD have careers in academia or sciences. However, sometimes an individual chooses a different path, career, or together totally different. Regardless of the path you choose, a PhD program offers many benefits that can come help to you in different areas of your life. So, you have to believe in it before you see it. Welcome to Be the CEO of Your Life series on Manthan with Saraswathi. After successfully running festival series, doctor series, educator series, and discussion with people who have shared various experiences, vision on this platform, I'm inviting the youth who have taken charge of the life to come and share the knowledge and experience to guide and empower the youngsters. Today is the fourth episode of the series, and there's many more to come. Today on Manthan with Saraswathi, we are pleased to have Dr. Anthrika Grover Sen, who has chosen a different path from academia to establish her foot into commercial industry. Let's talk to her and get to know something more. Welcome to Manthan with Saraswathi, Dr. Anthrika Sen.
Hi, Auntie. Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. I'm completely in awe with how you've started this series. I know you juggle many hats. This is not the only thing you do. So I keep telling mom that I'm always in awe. And this is something that's super, I think, interesting and inspiring for those who tune in. And also, you and I go back a long way. You've been my teacher since my young days in school, my Hindi teacher. And, seeing you even back then, I was like, it was an inspiration because you would not just teach Hindi. You would be organize debates, cultural programs, and keep us on our toes. And it's great to see you still doing the same. So it's an honor for me to be back.
Oh, yeah. So sweet. I'm so humbled and so honored by what you're saying, Anthrika. And yes, you have been no less. You have been an all-rounder. I have seen you as a brilliant student, as a debater, as a dancer, as an athlete. I remember so many things which we will share as we go on with the program, but allow me to introduce you to the viewers, Anthrika.
Sure. Thank you.
Anthrika Sen graduated in 2012 from National University of Singapore, NUS, where she majored in life sciences with a specialization in biomedical science. She was then awarded a prestigious NGS PhD scholarship and decided to pursue her PhD in cognitive psychology from NUS. Her thesis focused on how our ability to decode emotions changes as we age, and the findings were published in a couple of top-tier journals. She's a senior researcher at the market research and data analytics startup called Milieu Insights, where she is merging her area of passion, research data analysis, and consumer insight. Apart from academics and work, she enjoys dancing, writing, watching movies, and doing yoga. It gives me a great pleasure once again and welcome to Manthan with Saraswathi, Dr. Anthrika Grover Sen.
Hey, thank you.
So, what do you say? Let's get into the conversation, Anthrika.
Oh, let's jump right in.
Okay, that's good. So, Anthrika, when I have a guest, my first question is always like, what motivated a person to what they are doing? So, my question to you would be, after working so hard getting your PhD, which is dream for many, what inspired you to make a decision to leave academia and find your foot into commercial industry?
Well, that is a question that, I often get asked. And to be honest, that's a question I kept, asking myself throughout my PhD as well. Is this what I want to do? Do I want to finish my PhD and continue in academia? Or do I need to think about backup, career options? And I'll tell you why the reason I kept thinking about this is because when I started my PhD, I was very clear that, I'm going to view this PhD program as like an intense training program for skill set development and a mindset development. So for me, PhD wasn't just like a stepping stone to the next step in academia, ki professor banna hai ya, lecturer banna hai. For me, I always looked at it as a skill set building, program. And one thing that the PhD program gave me is that it diversified my skill set. So it wasn't just about studying cognitive psychology. It was about problem solving. You are the own leader of your project. So you are the one who has to face different problems, define it, and find creative ways to solve it. So there was this problem solving domain. The other thing is it also gave me a wide range of expertise. So it wasn't just cognitive psychology. I had to study coding. I had to design my projects. I had to go out and, interview people, collect data. So there was communication aspect. Then you analyze your results. So there was statistical analysis. And then you have to communicate your results to others. So there was also like storytelling aspect, like how do you communicate your results? So it gave me these holistic like bunch of skill sets that I knew it would be applicable in the outside world as well. So a part of me was like, I want to use this rigor and training and apply it in a normal industrial commercial setting. So at the back of my mind, I kept like thinking like, which industries can I go out there and apply these skill sets to? Back then, I know that there were these companies like Accenture, like basically consulting firms were very open to, hiring PhDs. But I was very lucky during my time, there was this burst of startups who were looking for people with multiple skill sets. Because in startups, unlike big companies where you can, zero in on one particular area and skill set and do well in it, startups, there was like an appreciation for people with diverse skill sets. So for example, if you're a good writer but also can analyze data analytics and merge the two and do more with your content. So yeah, back of my mind, I was like, I should speak to people and see what else is out there. And the other reason why I also moved out from PhD, at least for me, was that my area was very niche, and sometimes funding in academia is not always accessible. So a lot of it, you have to fight for grants to do your experiments. So there was this like urge in me to kind of, go out there and do things more easily without having to fight for grants, work for the tenure track. So yeah, I was very like excited to move to a fast-paced area where I can apply my learnings and, move ahead in a fast career trajectory. Yeah, those were motivations.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think very detailed analysis of, the skill set which you learned during your PhD and applying it elsewhere in the outside world from where you have learned, right? But I should say that you're one of the bravest person. You know why? That you are not afraid to take chances. Yes. And I feel that if you want luck, take more chances and be more active,
That's
and
right.
it is said that be brave to be different. So
Yeah.
I think you did something very brave going
Thank
away
you.
from you had your own reason, but then this is
Yeah.
again a great risk which you took, right, Antrika?
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you taking a divergent path from academia and getting into this commercial industry. Great. So I was researching and I got
Yeah.
to know that old age has classification. I was
Mm.
reading what you were doing. So after I researched and I got to know, it says that old age can be broken into three stages. I understand. I didn't know till I started working on your interview questions. So
Right.
I believe young old is 55 to 65 years of age.
Hmm.
Middle old is about 66 to 85,
Yeah.
and old is 85 and older. So,
Right.
so probably at this age, the bones become brittle and they lose their calcium and other minerals, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel early old age is a great time, which we are all going through. You know, you
Right.
have a
Right.
children grown up, and work is over, and you can pursue your own interest. What I'm doing right now. My question to you, Anthrika, when coming to old age, would be like you pursued your PhD on how aging affects the ability to understand vocal emotions, and I'm sure learning about human behavior from the
Mm.
cognitive psychology must
Mm.
have been truly rewarding. So, I want you to tell us briefly about, like, to just stir the minds of people who are listening to us.
Sure. Yeah. So, when we think of aging, there's often, like exactly like what you mentioned, when you think about aging, you think about physical kind of changes, like your bones become brittle,
Mm.
you become less physically active. And so aging is always seen as like a physical or a mental decline in function, like either you're physically aging or like your mental cognitive memory is reducing or your mental capacity is reducing. One thing that's often overlooked is the emotional aspect of aging.
Mm.
We are social human beings. A lot of our day-to-day interactions depend on how we understand each other's emotions.
Mm.
So I was very interested in the emotional aspect of aging because it's often overlooked. Research is heavily skewed towards Alzheimer's and other age-related decline.
Mhm.
So one of my motivations was like to understand the social and emotional changes in aging.
Mhm.
And what's interesting is that apparently a lot of studies have shown that as we age, the ability to understand facial emotions declines. So
Oh.
when I see your face and you're smiling, I can say you're like happy. When you're like droopy, it's sad.
Mm.
Of course, this is a simplification. A lot of studies have shown that facial emotion recognition declines, but
Mhm.
very few people studied about voice emotion recognition. And a
Mhm.
lot of our day to day interaction is how we understand each other's voice. So if
Mm.
I say the sentence, hey, I want to talk to you, you can say this in an angry tone, hey, I want to talk to you. And you'll know,
Mm.
okay, this is not good news.
Yeah.
But if I say, hey, I want to talk to you, I have something to share.
Exciting.
The excited tone
Yeah.
can, convey happiness.
Mm.
So in my research, I find that the ability to understand vocal emotion
Mhm.
declines with age for certain types of emotions, but it's preserved with age or even better with age for other types of emotions.
Mhm.
So what I learned is that aging is not all like gloom and doom. Not everything declines.
Mhm.
Some aspects of emotional understanding is also preserved.
Mhm.
And what I also found through my thesis is that a lot depends on who you interact with. So there's
Mhm.
one very interesting thing that happens with aging is that it's called socio-emotional selectivity theory. What it
Mhm.
means that as you age, right, there's less
Mhm.
time left in your life. So you
Mhm.
become more choosy about who you want to spend time with.
Okay.
And that's a conscious effort human beings make. That's why when you're young, you have like so many friends and you're, out there interacting. But when you grow older, you become more selective because there's less time left in life. So you want to invest your time and resources in more rewarding and more close, intimate relationships. So
Oh,
your
interesting.
emotion recognition abilities are also different with people who you closely interact with versus others. So anyway, like what was interesting to me was aging is not just physical mental decline. There are emotional aspects of it that are preserved, and especially those with who you spend more time with.
Ah,
So yeah.
thank you so much, Antrika. I think we never knew about this, as you
Yeah.
age, can even use your voice. And of course,
Yeah.
emotions and your facial expressions were always there. I
Yeah.
knew. But you have
Yeah.
you have give us a different perspective to old age, because what happens in old age is this fear.
Hmm.
That there comes a fear as you old, like you say, the bone becomes brittle, and
Yeah.
sometimes you lose cognitive
Yeah.
impairment comes up. So I always thought that it was the fear which stops us from taking a leap into trusting our own selves.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that from your research that people become selective. So we tend
Yeah.
to we want to spend time with our own near and dear ones. So probably we become very
Correct.
selective. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
different perspective. Wonderful. Thank you so much,
No
Anthrika,
problem.
for bringing up a new vision and new perspective to the old age. Very nice. Thank you. Very well said. Going away from the old age. So now that you are involved in the world of market research, in which you feel it is exciting and fast-paced world, but it lacks rigor of sound research methodologies and practices. You work with the clients like Google, Grab, Gojek, Spotify, etc., to unpack their research objective, design quantitative research surveys, analyze data, and communicate insight via effective storytelling. Oh my God, this seems so exhausting, really exhausting. So, how do you manage your priorities and how do you meet your deadlines?
Right. I'll be very honest here. Time
Hmm.
management and managing deadlines was always like a challenge for me.
Okay.
Sometimes if I get too deep into something, I can have tunnel vision and then I forget the rest of the tasks because I'm like, I love this so much. Let me go deep into it. But that's not always ideal because you have only 24 hours in a day and you have to
True,
divide your
true.
time between
Yeah.
different priorities. So
Uh-huh.
during my PhD, right? My mentor was the
Uh-huh.
reason I learned how to be a bit more, effective in time management. She would
Hmm.
tell me every Friday, I want you to give me a list of things you've done for this week.
Okay. Okay.
Every Friday, she wanted me to send her. And she's like, even if you've done nothing, I want you
Hmm.
to write to me and say, I've done nothing.
Hmm.
So, I would start my week, in fact, not just week, Sunday evenings, I would sit and think, what do I want to write in that email which goes to my professor? I don't want to say I didn't do anything.
Hmm.
So it gave me this habit of trying to plan your week ahead on Sunday evenings. Like just write a few things that you would be proud of or a few things that you think is important for you to achieve for this coming week. So that Friday night, when you write that note to your professor, you're not
Hmm.
ashamed. So I've kept this with myself even right now. Like in Sunday evenings, like maybe jot down 10 things I want to do for this week so
Hmm.
that by Friday evening, I'll be proud. Okay, I've achieved these things. But then the
Okay.
challenge comes that, with work, instead of 10, you'll have 20 things because everything is urgent for everyone.
Hmm.
What you need to do is delegate some tasks to other people as well. That's what I've learned. Like you don't have to be like conquering everything, especially in a work setting. You have
Hmm.
to have a team mentality. Like the objective is not that Antarika has accomplished 10 things. The objective is that these 10 things were done. So it's important to maybe delegate tasks. So if you
Hmm.
know you can get help from someone else, give
Hmm.
some tasks to other people as well. Third thing is maybe like bucket things also. Like some things are important, must do. Some things it's
Hmm.
okay to say no.
Yeah.
Kind of learn how to say no and prioritize things that are,
Hmm.
urgent and important. And it's still a struggle. Sometimes when Friday comes, you are like, I have not done as much as I should have. So don't beat yourself to it also if that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But put in the effort to plan and, delegate
So
tasks.
even after your PhD, you continue to do this. I mean, even when you're working with
Yeah,
the research team.
it stayed with me. Yeah, I do because I like going into the week knowing, okay, these are the things I need to do.
Okay,
That clarity helps in starting your week on the
great,
right note. Yeah.
wonderful. So if I have to sum it up for the listeners who are watching us, so it
Yeah.
would be like jot down your points at
Yeah.
on Friday evening or one week that
Yeah.
you will follow it for the next 1 week, your deadlines and whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then you say you delegate work, and because the teamwork is
Yeah.
very important, and then the important thing is to say no.
Yeah.
It's so important in life, and I think even I'm struggling to learn that. It's difficult, but yes,
It
I will
is.
get to that one day. I definitely do. So, but on the whole, we must say that your managing skills are amazing. If you could manage your points written down there and end of the week you can say that, oh, I have achieved this. It also shows that you've got your management skills are amazing. And I'm sure your hobbies would be keeping you stay calmer, right? I remember you as a kid and as a teen when you're growing up, you participated in all these cultural activities. You were in debates, you were in drama, you were in dance. So I'm sure these things also must be keeping yourself little calm to meet your priorities and deadline. Can we say that, Anthrika?
Yeah, I think so. I've been honestly very lucky that during school days, we were given opportunities to dabble, beyond academics. There was dance, there was sports, music, and it didn't matter. Like, you didn't have to be the best in everything.
Yeah.
The fact that we were just given a chance and like you could explore these other skill sets, like, it kept you engaged in, different aspects of your functions and abilities. And it helps now also, like, even though I don't do the wide range of things, just even doing yoga or writing, I think it's important to take time away from your work and just studies and immerse yourself in some other talents, because then it keeps you away from stress and
This is
pressure.
a killing agent now.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's very easy to fall into the loophole of work. So have something else to look forward to that keeps you also happy and engaged.
Now that you're talking about all these things, what did you enjoy about your education?
One thing I have to give my parents credit, like they never like put too much pressure of like, okay, you have to be number one, you have to bring in the best results. So when that pressure is not there, you become more open to exploring other options. So I like that, even in school or even in, during my PhD or BSc, I like to keep things balanced. Like, even though biomedical science is my focus, one of my best and most enjoyable actually modules was English literature.
Mm-hmm.
I loved like balancing things, like apart from just science and physics and chemistry. I loved doing literature. I loved doing like learning about history, Japanese history. So it just, kept things a bit more balanced and your mind a bit more open. So I always loved balancing arts with the science. That was one thing that really like kept me going. That again, like it requires you to think more creatively. I think sometimes just focusing on math or science can make you very great quantitatively, but something that I really use in my work right now is also writing skills or like creative ways of problem solving.
Yeah.
These different kind of skill sets are built when you expose yourself to maybe a wider range of modules as well. I enjoyed that very much.
Anthrika, now that we are talking about the school and what you enjoyed learning
Yeah.
today, where you are Dr. Anthrika. If I have to ask, have your educational and work background helped you get where you are now, presently working in a startup?
Yeah, very much so, especially for this role, because in my current role, what I do is companies come with us with some research problem, like, hey, say, for example, we want to introduce this new product in the market, but we don't know if consumers will be open to our idea or no.
Mm-hmm.
So we take this and then we survey people, then with the insights, like analyze the data and go back to them and tell them that your problem areas are this. This is where you should be focusing. So in this whole range of things, the part where I did my studies helped, the core degree helped is like in data analysis and statistical analysis.
Mm-hmm.
But for the rest of the things, like communicating your ideas to others, there was a bit of other muscle that I use, is the one that I studied in my PhD. Like, how do you communicate your results to your audience so that the data is actionable? So just being okay in statistical analysis wasn't enough. Like, I also needed to know how to understand the client's problems, how to break it down, and then how to go back to them and convince them that, okay, the data tells you this, so this is the actionable insight you need to take. So I think having like a varied background where it's not just about, statistical analysis or data, it's also about how you solve the project end to end. I think having a diverse background helped me in that way. Yeah, and I think it's not just in my area. I think in a lot of roles these days, you have to juggle between different expertise areas. I definitely think like having a background from PhD as well, a bit of work experience after that has helped me in my current job.
So we can say that what you learned during the school days or your college days, or in your case, your PhD, So putting whatever you've learned or gained whatever experience you have
Yeah.
into work
Yeah.
is more rewarding than
Yeah.
just doing the one same job every day in and out, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
so that is going to lead me to the next question. So, what kind of advice would you like to give from the experiences you have gained? And I'm sure PhD was definitely not an easy one. It was a very, a drilling
Yeah.
session or challenging time because you were away from the family. So, what kind of advice would you give these youngsters from your experience?
Um, right. So my first advice would be is to maybe think about what you really want to do and spend a lot of time with yourself, like thinking about what is it that motivates you, what is it that you're passionate about. You know, when I started out my undergraduate, the only thing I knew about was like, oh, I love biology and I'm good at it. But I don't think that's enough. Go in a little deeper, ask like, what is it about, what you love,
Mm,
what is it about that really gets you going, because then that opens your mind into different possibilities of your career
mhm,
tracks. The second is speak to people, speak to people from various backgrounds, because I had a one track mind earlier. I was like, oh, if I like biology I should do BSc, then I should specialize in biomedical science. But no, with your degree you can go to a wide range of, you can even become a science writer. Just to give you an example, just loving biology doesn't mean that you end up doing PhD and then academia. It also means that maybe you can become a science journalist, or you can become a forensic scientist. So keep your mind open, like no matter what you like, speak to people from different career paths. These days there's LinkedIn. I think one of my favorite tasks is also to go on LinkedIn and see, like, say if you have a dream job in mind,
mm,
go to people with that dream job, but then see their career trajectory. You will be surprised to see, people have gone from one field to another. So for example, I saw there was a Netflix content creator
mhm.
who had a PhD in chemistry. So, and I was
Ah,
like, okay, that's an interesting jump. So don't limit yourself. Degree maybe give you an expertise in an area, but that it may not limit you from applying what you learned somewhere else.
wow.
So I just speak to people, get an idea of what else is out there,
Mhm.
and yeah, constantly ask yourself, is are you doing the best of what you can? Don't limit yourself just because you're the traditional career path tells you to do so. Now more than ever, you can, explore different avenues. Yeah.
Yeah. So, friends, you're listening to Anthrika Grover Sen, and she is sharing her thoughts and her passionate views on her journey as a market researcher. And she is a PhD who has taken a different career path, and she's sharing her views. And now you heard her saying that what are the few points which she suggested to the youngsters is spend some time with yourself, find out what your passion is, and speak to people from various field, and don't limit yourself, right, Tantrika?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure what tips you're giving them, advices you're giving them, or thoughts you're sharing is definitely going to be very helpful. Moving with the same lines, what has been particularly rewarding in your path you have chosen now? What
Yeah.
interests you the most about your job? Just in few lines, maybe not a
Right.
very detailed analysis of that.
Right. I think one rewarding part of my role right now is that it's constantly evolving, because my
Mm,
mentor understands that I'm not just a market researcher. I also have a background in PhD. So he's like, I don't want to limit you in just the traditional role, like what's expected of you, like understanding clients' objectives, analyzing the data, and give it back. They're like, you can do whatever you want in your extra free time as well. Like, think about what new things you can do. So then I proposed the idea ki, I have some, hypothesis about why the data is like this.
mm,
I think we are mindlessly doing this. I have a hunch that we should do things differently. So my boss was like, okay, go run some experiments with your hypothesis and see what the learnings are. So that's the aspect I really love about my role,
ah,
that they give me the freedom to, like, these days it's also important to kind of question that, is what you're doing actually what you're observing,
mm,
or is there more to it? my manager gives me the freedom to kind of design my research experiments. And like, just to give you an example, like sometimes people ask us like, hey, people taking surveys in Singapore versus people taking surveys in other countries, is there differences in the way they answer the same question? Maybe there are cultural biases. So the data we are seeing may not just be differences in answers, it may be a bias. So it's like, okay, run an experiment, go find your answer. So that's what I enjoy about my role. It's constantly evolving. They give me the freedom to do something else on the side based on my background as well. Yeah.
Giving a free hand, is what you really appreciate, right?
Yeah.
It's also said that we, with our enthusiasm and committed approach, can accomplish a lot and reach our
Yes.
goal. Because now that
That's
you're
true.
having similar, very well said, Anthrika. I'm so happy that you are sharing your wonderful thoughts and to the point, and what the youngsters are looking forward these days. Your answers are definitely going to inspire them. If I have to say, share some 3 points. You've shared various points, various
Yeah.
thoughts, but any 3 particular points which you feel will shape their career?
I'll looking back, the way I would think about this question is, what would I tell myself if I was like maybe 10 years younger? What could I have told myself? One thing
Most probably
definitely,
way. Yeah.
one thing I think I would advise people or youngsters is to think about their lives a bit more in a more holistic manner. I think the title of your series is how to be the CEO of your life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I would encourage people to think about their lives also more holistically, because as a CEO, it's not just about hitting your business targets, right? You need to develop leadership skills. You need to have a sense of finance. You need to have a sense of people management. So I think you should have a bit more rounded approach to your life as well. Sometimes early in my life, it was just like academics, or even early in my job, it would just be about my job. But think more about your life as a whole as well. What do you want to do beyond just your work? Maybe you want to develop leadership skills on the side, or you want to get your finances in order. Like, I learned about investments so late. I wish I had a sense of how to manage my finances early on in life. And then invest in people relationships also. Don't neglect your family because of just work or friends. Like, because your social network, your social friends are the ones who will keep you going even when the going gets tough, or even otherwise. So think about your life a bit more holistically. That would be point one. Point two would be also learn, never be afraid to ask. Sometimes we limit ourselves because we are like, no, I'm less qualified for that. I won't apply for that job because I don't think I'm good enough. Or I won't ask my boss or teacher for this because they'll say no. You'll never know unless you ask. That's one thing I wish I'd done more. Like, be open and ask, take that chance, because at the most they'll say no, but what if it's a yes, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, these two. The third thing I would say is, again, I think I've said this before, like, maybe spend a bit more time with yourself these days. Like, I'm guilty of, when it's work, just work. After that, maybe watch Netflix, or even when I'm taking a shower, I'm like, okay, watching a video, listening to music. There's less of time spent with your own thoughts. And I think you should spend more time with yourself, because that's where you kind of really get answers of what is it that you're enjoying about your life, what is it that you don't like. Write it down, set goals for yourself, and actively work towards it. Yeah, it would be my 3 points.
Very,
But
very
like,
open minded suggestion and truly inspirational. And the best part, what is happening is you guys who have taken charge of your life, you are talking about your experience and you're sharing it, which is definitely going to be so helpful to the youngsters, which I really want. And I'm so proud of you children that you have come and you've shared such amazing, say, exceptional thoughts from your own experience. With is very authentic. Otherwise it's so easy to go around saying, motivating yourself. Oh, I've been. But now when you guys are sharing it, I'm sure the ones who will be listening will believe that yes, this is possible and this is what we should be doing. Now, finally, we are just reaching towards the end of the show, and I would like to ask, like, this is my last question normally, that when I ask any of the guests, I see I'm so proud to call you guys as my guest.
yeah.
What has been your aha moment? Or
Okay. Okay. I haven't done anything like major enough to like be like, aha, this is my aha moment. But I think the one day that sticks with me was the day I defended my PhD thesis. So I had to defend my thesis in front of examiners. And once that cleared, I was just like, okay, I did it. It seemed like an achievement because I'll be honest, like in the middle of my PhD, I was this close to giving up because I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through so much torture? Like my other friends are working, they already have their careers on track. Is this even worth it? Having that self-belief and like, having this mindset that this is just another problem in life, just face it. And, whatever will happen, will happen. So when I defended my thesis, it was that moment, it made me realize, okay, if I've kind of jumped over this hump, I can face any other problem in life, be it, personal or work wise, just by being rational about it, not being so bogged down by it, just like facing it head on. That was my aha moment. And I also told myself, PhD is not the end of the life. This is probably the beginning of your life. And the aha moment was also that now I can try and apply my skill sets anywhere else. You don't have to kind of limit yourself just to academia. Your career is what you make of it. So don't limit yourself to any one particular degree or program. So that was a realization that before that I was like, it's all about PhD, and just like that, having that tunnel vision. That day after I defending my thesis, I felt like my world opened up. Like, don't be so bogged down by one thing. It's just one small point in your life. There'll be many other challenges. You just got to like face it. Yeah.
I really admire the way you've handled the difficult situation as PhD. I know defending is the most challenging part of PhD, and I'm so proud that you have done it so beautifully. You were destined to become doctor. So yeah, you are there. Thank you so much, Anthrika, for that very honest thought you shared.
Thank you. Yeah.
I would like to end my show with an amazing thought of Winnie the Pooh.
How cute.
But
very wise.
Yeah. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Friends, ponder over this and enjoy the weekend. Once again, I want to thank Anthrika Grover-Sen for taking her time out and sharing her intriguing and awe-inspiring thoughts with us. It was truly splendid having you on my show. And I sincerely want to thank Mr. Suresh for helping me bring this talk show to you all. Kindly like the page Manthan with Saraswathi. And this is Saraswathi saying bye-bye and thank you for watching.
Thank you. Thank you so much.